Namaste and welcome to this exciting new episode of Sattology debunking mythology. Sat means truth and logos means a study or science. Sattology means a science of truth. Opposite of that is mythology, which is a science of fake, lie, or imagination. I will tell you a real story today morning as I was in a personal gathering of some public officials, and the topic was how to build innovation. It was a great breakfast meeting, and one of the things people told, and I was happy to some extent, one of the things people said, the real identity is missing. And I said, oh, behold, I've been telling that from day one, that when you destroy the native cultures, the identity gets lost. And there is a wild rush for science and technology without understanding the purpose of science and technology. Science and technology must help us become our real self, give us a real vision of this real world. It may be temporary, but it is real. So I have a very, very special guest, author of Gita Comes Alive, teaches Bhagavad Gita in many international forums and many YouTube channels. And so you can hear him all over the internet nowadays. And without delay, let us welcome my good friend, Jeffrey Armstrong.
Ramzadi, it's great to be with you again. And to everyone, thank you for joining us. This is a very exciting moment in history. And in a way, we are celebrating it together by getting the Vedic Vidya into the hearts and minds of everyone so that they can act in a more perfect way as a player in the modern situation.
Yeah, one of the things which I hear constantly, especially in the USA, it's a Judeo-Christian country. Now, when we ask them what happened to the Native Americans' faith, and the one thing it is generally told, that the science and technology was brought by the European settlers. And so before we start off with the rest of the show, so I would like to hear your comments on that, please.
Certainly. Well, the first thing is, I would like to answer it by pointing us to something we just saw yesterday and recently. And this is Richard Branson's teenage antics on the way to outer space. In many regards, I wish the plane had just kept going, though I never like to see any human being harmed. But this tremendous waste of resources and distraction from really taking care of each other, all the living entities on this planet, is personified by the pair, Elon Musk and Richard Branson, the useless late adolescent billionaires who are wasting everybody's time and resources and totally distracting us from the real purpose of human life.
I think in this show or some other show, I had said there was a petition for Jeff Bezos that please don't come back. There's a public petition over there. And it was very successful. I think it got more than 50,000 signatures. So it must have reached him. Now, coming to this particular topic of science and technology, I have been saying it, you have been saying it, that Sanatan Dharma and science are integral to each other. So pursuit of science or Vigyan means realization is based on observation and experiential. It is experiential. You can experience it. In that way, it becomes scientific. So the entire yoga, 50 million Americans follow it. It is an experiential science. Now, what is the position of science in the Abrahamic faith culture?
There is no science in the Abrahamic culture, first of all. There's just faith. Because science is why, at least to be kind unto the Judaic culture, Judaism is not a library burning culture. In fact, they're often quite fond of books. So I think of them as the intermediate bridge between the Vedic and the now what we call Abrahamic. But on a bad day, the Abrahamic religion, so-called, which really means things done in the name of Christianity and Judaism, so we can separate it from the sincere Muslims and Christians. Our library burning. That's the essence of the culture. They are anti, not only science, but anti-jnana, anti-buddhi, anti-individuality, and ultimately anti-life in the name of something, some crime we committed before we got here that's unspecified, never mentioned, that we're somehow guilty of. And now we should be sheep and follow and only have one lifetime. It's a perfect setup for insanity.
So the progress of science and technology is often connected with space exploration.
Because they have outovations instead of innovations.
Right.
This is, the Vedic view is, out here we cooperate, in here we go into space.
True.
We don't buy expensive rocket ships with 4 people. I saw Branson, his friend, and 2 girls. I'm from Detroit. It looked like a bunch of rich kids in a Mercedes station wagon going on a joyride. It was so absurd. The girls giggling in weightlessness. And it was just like a scene out of a B-grade teenage movie.
So another thing is all the moon explorations have brought rocks, and the reason is given is that with the rocks you are going to understand what is the composition of the moon, and then how we can make better houses. That's the logic being given. And how practical is that thought? Because there are a lot of theories, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist. We are Sattologists, believe in the facts. And we're going to say the facts. What do you say?
Aditya, you're a mind reader. You're wonderful, amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, he read my mind ahead of the show. We haven't pre-planned this, but Adi, I have a poem to exactly answer your question, which I wrote. It's called No Mars, No Star Wars Bars. You want to go to Mars, to build a chain of Star Wars bars and a string of alien bazaars because you're jealous of the stars. You want to pollute the sky to find more real estate to buy, a distraction toward which to fly, so you can avoid the question, why we exist, our true being, the meaning of the sacred life we're seeing, and from what we are fleeing, or how empty space will help us freeing. But you point our focus toward space with a serious look on your trusty face, as if it is a healthy place for members of the human race. But all this space talk is just a distraction from the secret human interactions, which divide us all into numerous factions to provide the wealthy with more satisfactions, while we are told that this is progress to an endless night of emptiness, leaving planet Earth a mess. And this is their meaning of success. While any idiot can see that there is no planet B or C, no other place we can be safe, sound, relaxed, and free. But crazy nerds with too much dough are looking for another place to go, as if life is a video, a sci-fi novel, or TV show. Space is not the final frontier, and Star Wars bars do not have better beer. These are distractions from being here and becoming enlightened, truthful, and clear. So give up the interstellar quest and live your life so the Earth is blessed. Replant the planet and the forests, for life is a class and how we live is the test.
What a beautiful poem. You touched every single point, and I think it was very, very satirical to a large extent. And so that's the beauty of your poetry. Now, you have studied stars as a Vedic Jyotishi, and you know the actual positions based on the Shastra, Vedic Shastra. It has been way before written by Vyasdev, Jaimini, many other people, and Bhaskaracharya took it from there. Aryabhat took it from there, and it's already well documented. Distance of sun and earth, distance of sun and moon, between distance of moon and earth, all these things. And very famous person in the US, Prabhupada, said, Monday comes after Sunday. And very simple logic he gave. But before we go and get into all those things, this is already documented. The modern science is just trying to validate the ancient Vedic writings. Now, when something is already given and we want to get the Pratyaksha Praman, was it practical in 1960s and 70s to go there, or when the cameras were not advanced, there was no radio connection. I don't know how people reached there because there's no proper control. All those explorations were done at the expense of the American taxpayers and in competition with the Soviets. Now, what benefit that we as a humanity have derived from those trips?
We have rocks from the moon. Ooh, we're so lucky. Are they in a museum somewhere? Because I've never seen them. And they haven't done me any good. I don't know. There are plenty of rocks on Earth. Do you think we need a couple more from each planet or something? I don't know. Or could we explore inner space? So here's the secret that the rishis figured out, that the inner realm is unlimited. And if you learn to explore it, you'll have all of the excitement that you might have if you explored the outside with none of the danger. Besides, if somebody else explores the outside, you don't get the thrill. But if you go inside, then you become, and I made up the word for this, poet that I am, asanatronaut. There's astronauts, which I call jackastronauts, because they're stupid. They're going out into space, risking their life on one expensive trip, and no one benefits. But yoga makes you an astronaut, an asana yogi who can go to ecstatic realms and have ecstatic states of consciousness while sitting in your living room. What could be more practical than that? So the way I say this is that Benares in India is the NASA of the yogis. People at the end of their life go there. They've been yogis all their life. They're not trapped inside their body. They're just waiting for launch. And they're on countdown, 10, 9, 8, the body's about to go. 7, 6, 5, NASA, we had launch, and we're off. The whole yogic culture is the exploration of inner space while taking care of each other with the resources of the earth here in our physical space.
You touched a very important point in the journey, which I have seen personally witnessed in Varanasi, and I've witnessed in Rishikesh. I met many advanced Siddha yogis. Their perception of reality is so real. It's so real that it looks as if they're touching the elements. And they never moved out of Kashi or Rishikesh. They were always lived there. But their perception of reality and their knowledge about the society, even for people who do not belong or practice the faith of Vedas, but about them also, their perception of reality is very clear. Like one of the yogis told me that in India, people may be poor, but their hearts, and this is a yogi has said it, not any other Abrahamic faith leader, this is his personal words. People are poor, their bellies are empty, but their hearts, if they have yoga, they are complete. Om Purnam, Ada Purnamidam. Now, in the West, people's bellies are full, but their hearts are filled with Shunyavad. It's like everything zero. Because they believe in the one life syndrome, and that's where it connects there. So now the inner space is polluted and outer space is extremely polluted. My next question will be the outer space pollution caused by the humans, which you can see in any Skyview or any other app. So what is
Space
it?
trash. It's orbiting our planet.
Yes.
We can't get out because of the space trash.
Yes.
Oh, there goes my trip to the moon this year. It's so ridiculous. It really is.
I
And
was
you know
wondering.
what?
Yes.
When you said this, I was thinking of the mantra we all learned in the 60s. There was a mantra that we learned that everyone should know. Are you ready? See if you remember this one. I can't get no satisfaction. I can't get a good reaction. Mick Jagger. Thank you, Mick, for the wonderful mantra. Matter cannot give you satisfaction. Haven't you gotten that by now? Everything you have runs out of ink, runs out of food, doesn't give you enough. Your hunger is unlimited and matter is limited. So, you know what word I really dislike? Alien. How dare we call someone on this planet an alien because they don't have our passport? If they're on the planet, they're not an alien. It's alien of you to make them give you a piece of paper to prove they have a right to be here. All of our language is contaminated with these insane ideas. And ladies and gentlemen, the yogis said before Mick Jagger, you can't get no satisfaction from matter. You can only get shanti. And beyond shanti is states of ecstatic being that you can't even imagine within matter.
Most of the musicians, music is a great medium of connecting with the inner self. I have personally experienced it, and most of the spiritualists or Adhyatma followers Adhyatmavad, they believe in music as a means of transcending their souls through bhajan, kirtan, and songs. Like Bhagavad Gita is a great song we have. So, but the concept of song has also polluted inner space in a big way, because people are listening to crazy ideas in a nice tune. It's like getting a bitterest and most harmful drug in your body through the medium of ears. What is your view on that? It has polluted everybody's mind, actually.
Absolutely. Well, the problem is all of these things are given to us as, quote, normal. Why is that? Well, if someone's trying to sell you something, they tell you normal people do this. They create a reality of their own and then create in you the desire to fit into it. The fact is, Mick Jagger was saying the material world can't give you what you want. He didn't have the answer, but he had raised the question. Now, that particular song just happens to have a useful message, but most of them are songs about how to be trapped within matter. So the secret here is that sound vibration is the secret of freedom or bondage. But the most powerful of the elements that we can expose ourselves to is sound vibration. And this is why Sanskrit is so important. Because Sanskrit is the use of sound vibrations that do actually take us to the higher states of consciousness and other realms of being. The reason is we're not the body. If you say, oh, you look so good, nice shirt, I point to my wife, I say, nice shirt. It's not me. It's just covering. The entirety of Western civilization and religions is totally lost in the covering. Yes, Adi?
True.
And they don't know how to explore the inside. And this is what the rishis found. The shlokas, the mantras, the rigs of the Veda, those various vibrations, they gave us the secret that various sound combinations, meditated upon correctly, take you to the destination toward which you're trying to go. And you can stay in that state of being, then you don't become externally greedy, and the planet has enough for everyone. Soon as everyone is not satisfied within, they run at the material world with greedy attitudes. There's not enough. And this, I don't always quote Gandhi, but he did say this one nicely, that the Supreme has provided enough for everyone's need, not for their greed.
True. It's a great line actually, and the biggest thing about outer space exploration is the tourism. Tourism is the one. The greed is guiding the thing, and I'm just now amazed at the kind of debris in the space. In some places, it is assumed that when it comes crashing down due to some reason, some gravitational malfunction, maybe if it is there, if it comes down ever, it's going to rain literally hell. It's going to rain fire bombs all over the place. So the space pollution is the result of human greed, but the inner space pollution is also the result of human greed. Like Krishna says, is Artha Sanchayan. That is
Yes.
Asuri Pravritti.
So let me give us a word for this, Adi, if I may, just to remind everyone. You heard what he said, that greed in us. So there must be a science of making humans more greedy. Yes? Do you think so? So what is the name for that science? Adi, what's the science of making humans more greedy called?
Materialism.
What makes you hungry for more materialism?
Sense gratification, or
And what leads you to sense gratification?
more enjoyment.
Ready? Yogas, chit, vritti, nirodha. Advertising. The word vert in advertising is the Sanskrit vritti. Vrittis are twisted states of consciousness that are created by the fact that everything here is circular. But if you learn how to confuse someone with twisted logic and twisted arguments, then you take control over them and you implant an idea inside of them, which is called a vritti. And the person who does that is called an advertiser. They're planting a suggestion into your unconscious, assuming you have an unconscious. So if you're conscious as a yogi, you're conscious of advertising as trying to hypnotize and control you. So the basic approach of greedy, materialistic individuals is to hypnotize the masses with advertising. Put vrittis inside them so they think they have to have a certain thing to be happy. And this is what the yogis are warning about. Beware of advertising. Beware of people creating hungers in you for something material and then selling you the product and then making you addicted. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the basis of not only our society, but our medical system. Our medical system refuses to speak of health and is there to simply give you emergency medicines after the junk you've been eating because of advertising has almost killed you. Did you hear me?
The very two common principles are used, avirodh priti and virodh yukt krodh. Avirodh priti is unrestricted attachment. It is told by Rupa Goswami. And avirodh priti, which is like unrestricted attachment. I've never saw the reason why a shaving cream needs an advertisement for a woman. And how do they connect actually? And nowadays people love beards more than clean shaven looks. And the second is virodh yukt krodh, anger arising out of frustration. And if you look at all the political campaigns, I think the political campaigns are the best marketing campaigns ever run, because People are making you believe in something. Now, when you can experience in why there is a need to believe it, it's my common question. Like, why, if people can experience, why you have to believe in something? If you can experience, if you can eat a pudding, then or halwa, then why you need to experience it through words only?
So I have a magic mantra for this, Adi. It's called, ready? Bait and switch. It's two-part process. Bait, first you dangle something in front of the person that you know they're hungry for. So the commercial begins with a family, two children, and a husband and wife looking happy, smiling at each other, riding in the car, kids are playing in the back seat, dogs going woof woof, etc., etc. And they're all going down the road, and it takes about 20 seconds. And then the camera goes to the back of the car, and we see the sign. This is the word being implanted inside of you. Bait, bait, bait. I know you want to be happy. I know you want this. I know you want that. Switch, and now the word Toyota. That's all. You were just swizzed. That was a black magician, an evil-minded person controlling your mind with your emotions. We know you want these things. Now you're hungry, aren't you? Yes, you want that too, don't you? Good, because you need one of these to get it. Without Toyota, you'll never have that happiness. Without going to space, you'll never have that happiness. Bait, switch. Got it? Now, don't let it get you again, or it'll give you vertigo, which is worse than herpes.
One of the things which is, whenever you talk these topics, and I had a conversation in the morning today with somebody, a regular American, when you have these kind of topics, they usually reject it as some psychedelic talks, because they have been taught that it's a psychedelic version or hippie version. And I have a question for them, is that we are talking about to make you happy, not a hippie. Now, so when we discuss these things, and which appears to you as psychedelic, when you have a mental depression, where do you turn to? My question to all of you who are watching and who are questioning me like that, you turn to meditation. What the doctors tell you, the best psychiatrists attend the yoga school, the best psychiatrists. Why? Because
their meditation is medication.
No, they're prescribing you medication because they're supposed to do.
Because they don't have meditation.
But they themselves are going to a meditation place. So
a few.
So the point is that the inner space has been violated with all these advertisements. And in India, the advertisement is English is cool, Sanskrit is bad, you are backward if you talk in Hindi or any other local language, and the Narad is a joker. This is the mythology being spread. Or the worst is Narad is a patrakar, even worse than that, journalist. They made him the journalist now in India. And so this is all feeding to your brain so that you move away from Vedic culture. The moment you move away from that, you are the carrot now. So do you want to become the carrot? You have to decide yourself that if you want to become the carrot or not. Because if you become the carrot, then if you look at the donkey, the carrot is always hanging in the front. Donkey cannot eat it because that's the bait. So where is the catch now? What is the catch, Jeffrey?
The hook is in the words. And I was thinking about this the other day. First of all, what you should all be thinking about this whole crazy COVID show that's been put on is, why is it all about a cure? Why isn't it about how to be healthy? In other words, a cure is once you get sick, and the cure costs money. Now, doesn't that sound like bait and switch again? Aren't we supposed to stay healthy? Or is our idea that I can live like a pig, I can eat anything I want, I have no concept of health, I don't do anything to stay healthy, but I should be healthy anyway. What if letting society be that way is the bait, and the medicines being created for emergencies are the switch? I was thinking about this the other day because I was thinking about this term that was invented, anti-vaxxer, anti-vax. And I finally got it. I'm not anti-vax. I'm anti-quacks. What is a quack? According to the dictionary, one who quacks and boasts about useless salves and unguents, about useless medicines, or a medical charlatan who is a vendor of unreliable medicine. Anyone with half a brain knows that there's an appropriate time for some kind of vaccination because it was invented in India. Smallpox vaccination was invented in India. There's a book about it. So in that case, it's not vaccination that's the problem. It's not having a healthy lifestyle that's the problem. Then it's unproven interventionist measures being forced upon people. In other words, during this whole crazy show, the real issues have been avoided scrupulously. What is a healthy lifestyle? There should be a vitamin pack for every single person in every country that they take daily if they want to be healthy. And those should be provided as the insurance plan that everyone stays healthy. Do you see that happening anywhere? Or do you see an emergency measure from pharmaceutical companies getting rich on making it that is unproven, untested, unproven even in its approach in technology? Why is this not an intelligent conversation? And why do we not dedicate money and resources to the health and well-being of every citizen? Adi?
Loka Sangraha is completely missing in today's discourse. Is only profit Sangraha, is Artha Sanchayan is what is there. Every single meeting in a public discourse, whether it's by politicians or so-called economists, and I don't like people using Bhagavad Gita as a management book, because Bhagavad Gita is much more than a management book, because management means somebody managing you. Krishna is letting you free, is the book of freedom. So
he's not a CEO, he lets you see.
yeah, he's actually opening your eyes to the real you. Management is for you manage a group of people who cannot who are in that position. Unfortunately, they're being managed for financial reasons or whatever it is. If they have a free will,
you manage a flock of sheep also.
So, and he's not herding the sheep. That's a very bad statement, herding the sheep. That means we have no brain. Like we are human beings. We're not supposed to be herded like that. A German shepherd herds the sheep. So do you think you want to be hounded by a German shepherd? No.
Hey, wait, it wasn't just the Germans.
Good point. So I'm just saying the word German shepherd because that's what they use it for, herding the sheep.
It was a good pun, actually.
Do you actually want to be herded? Like my logical question to these people. So Bhagavad Gita lets you free. It makes you realize who you are and you're free now.
Ladies and gentlemen, the word is moksha. And moksha means that it is our very nature to be an immortal being and not to be bound within the laws of Prakriti, of the material realm. So we should know that the discomfort of being here is not to be satiated by running at matter and having enough pleasure until we're totally happy. That will never happen. Brahmabhuta prasanatma nasochati nakangshati. It is your unlimited Brahman nature that must find a pathway to connect with the unlimited source of that joy. And that is what the Sanskrit is. Adi, what are mantras?
Vidya, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Moksha Ashubhat. Whatever Ashubh is in life, which is Ashubha is not auspicious, Ashubh is Ashubh. Shubha means something good, Ashubh is something which is not good. From all Ashubh, you get freedom, moksha, like the word, last word you said. Now, coming back to the temporary fleeing away from problems, like going on a tour ride to the space just to see the curvature of the earth. It may be a great sight to behold the blue planet, and from earth you can see Mars, which is a red planet. So you spend thousands of dollars on these events. I'm sure there'll be one yoga class also starting in the space. I'm sure on one of the space flights somebody will be teaching yoga over there. But the point which I'm trying to say is that there is a lot of useless expenditure of public and private wealth on unnecessary endeavors, when 60% of oceans are unexplored, 40% of Earth's land mass is still unexplored, because more humanity is now getting centered in the cities. So where are we heading to as a human society on this uncharted exploration?
Why do you tell us Shubh and Ashubh again? What is Shubh?
Shubh means something which is going to help you in your spiritual journey, adhyatma journey.
Something beneficial
to your
becoming
soul,
your
atma.
true self.
Exactly.
For your atma to become its true self.
And Ashubh means any hindrances coming to your journey of adhyatma.
So could it be that in English, a substitute,
Yes. True.
Is giving you something that pretends to be good for your true self, but is not? Could that be a substitute?
True. Like whether you
pretending to be Shubh.
Whether you go on Blue Origin, or you go on a SpaceX, or you go on a Virgin, the Blue Virgin, everyone is planning to search now which plane to get onto, just to see curvature of the earth. Now, in the inner space world, like when you get into the yoga space, you tend to experience things, and ultimately the enjoyment is in the mind, not in the body, but the body pays the bills. So we all understand now that the goal of all the exploration is money. Now, what is our alternative to that, Jeffrey? What should we tell them? What should be done?
Ladies and gentlemen, let me give you a metaphor. See this. Don't think that I'm praying or asking for something. Don't think that thought. Just ask, what am I doing with that? Well, on one level, I'm staying balanced. But I'd like you to think of this as a kind of sharp razor, a razor's edge. And what you do with it is you cut away anything that is not you. And just assume that everyone is trying to stick something to you that will suck money out of you, life out of you, twist your ideas, twist your viewpoints. Some are doing that professionally, and some are doing that purposely, and some are doing that accidentally. Their unbalance is rubbing off on you. So just think of a yogi as someone who has this scalpel, and very carefully, they don't cut people, they cut away from themselves. Na iti, na ET. What is that, Adi?
This is not. This is it. This is not. Yeah.
That's it. This is not. That's it. This is not. This is the Yogi way. Look, if I came up to you and you saw you had a little fleck of something on you, you might think it was forward of me to get it off, unless it was a poison that could kill you before you got home, which case you'd be ever so grateful. I go, oh, look, that could have killed you. So yogis are like that. We're simply saying, when we do this, we're saying, I use this scalpel, but only to remove what I'm not. I see you as an immortal being. You're selling yourself short. You've sold out. You've been trapped. You've been covered with little suckers that are sucking the life out of you and making you buy junk. You've been trained to have addictions. What if you didn't have any of those? Not ET, not ET, not ET, not ET. Who am I? Am I from here or visiting here? Before we go, Adi, I have one more poem.
Yes.
Are you ready, or shall I save it for the end?
No, go it now. Do it now.
So I want you to think for a moment before I start. What is an alien exactly? There are no aliens on Earth. Listen, Earthlings, there are no aliens on our planet. Nobody here you should take for granted. Nobody here who shouldn't be here. No one who isn't someone's dear. No one needs a passport to affirm a right to be here on terra firma. And everyone here is just a guest, nursed on the nipple of our mother's breast. No one here owns a thing they hold. No one's body that won't grow old. No one wounded who doesn't bleed. No one here we shouldn't feed. No one here who should be thrown out. No one here we can do without. No one here who doesn't cry, a planet filled with the children of Gaia. And everyone from small to great must find a way to cooperate. If you're here, then that's the deal. Every creature gets their meal. In everything you make or do, hold this planetary view. No one is excluded from this group, but the selfish and greedy hope to dupe us into having an enemy, a target for our hostility, a group that needs to be blown away to solve our problems the weapons way, like Nagasaki or Hiroshima, whose children did not fit our schema because they were aliens. Do you think so? Then whose children are the next to go? And where will you stop this weapons race? There are no aliens any place, only friends and neighbors live here. No one who isn't someone's dear. So listen, friends, beloveds, Omis, there are no aliens on Mata Bhumi. Now is the time to hear this message before we are led into a carnage where everyone will learn to cry, watching their beloveds die. So stop it now. Don't go insane. We don't need to go to war again. There are no aliens left on Earth. And this is a new world giving birth. Now open your heart, open your mind, learn to cry, and don't be blind. Save our planet in all you do, or the only alien left will be you. Look in your heart, and you'll see where to go. Bring peace to our planet and live Namo.
No, this is a wonderful prayer. What a wonderful poem also. The last point in this discussion, the coming to the point of Adhyatma, which is Swadhyaya, it comes from Adhyatma. In English, we'll call it pursuit of yoga for understanding the real self. Yoga is the medium of travel also. travel through the mind, through your heart, into a different level of reality, which is the word is, so what is your view on that? And then we end this discussion. I know you have a lot of viewers have many questions, but we'll put it to the YouTube, ask on YouTube there.
Well, Adi, that word is so wonderful because the re is taken directly from the Sanskrit, but in English, we're so used to it. Religion, revive, re. We think it means again. But the re is from the ritam, or the word ritam is from the re, which is the primal and original Sanskrit root that has to do with the very existence of things. The re is also represented in the sat that Adi Sangi is using as the flagship for the conversation. Because if it is sat, then he knows, and you should know, that it is also chit, as in yogas chit vritti nirvana, and that it is ananda. It is beyond the pleasures of matter. It is the ultimate ecstasy of Brahman. And then finally, it is vigraha, without gravity. It is individuality without gravity. This is our true nature. And the Vedas are careful to bring the knowledge of true nature to those Atmas who are waking up and ready to hear it. And we never coerce and we never convert. But we do have conversations. This conversation is to unravel the vrittis. Back to you, Adi.
Thank you so much, Jeffrey. And it was a great conversation as usual. And it's an honor to have you. And people look forward to these kind of discussions, because somewhere in the professional, much larger channels, these discussions somewhere get lost because for whatever the reasons. But thank you so much. And do comment and ask your questions on the YouTube. And whatever questions you had right now, I already asked them. Thank you. Namaste.